Texas comes in at 16-6 overall. The Sooners 20-3. Oklahoma's off to their best start since 2009 when they made it all the way to the Final Four. So here we go, Sooners and Horns, and we are underway at the Irwin Center. Oklahoma edged Texas by just 2 points, 65-63 in their previous matchup this season. Shea Holley getting her second career start and her second straight start tonight for Texas on the floor with Harmon, Alan Taylor, Ebo, and Gaston, and that one out of bounds. Texas retains possession. The Longhorns come in averaging 73 points per contest. Oklahoma, 86 points per game. Again, second highest scoring team in the nation. Highest scoring Sooner squad in Big 12 history, and Oklahoma forces the turnover. Back the other way, Kennedy Tucker, the junior from Little Rock, Arkansas. Maddie Williams lobbing it down low, and the first bucket of the game comes from the player who scored the last bucket of the game when these two teams scored off the last time, Liz Scott.
Yeah, Liz Scott getting healthy and really showing what she can do on the interior. That turnover by Texas, that is something we are going to talk about. They have got to take care of the basketball and not let Oklahoma get out and run.
Tori Harmon to the rack, and one, count it. Harmon down, however, writhing in pain after the bucket. The sensational freshman for Texas, slow to get up.
Rory Harmon is definitely very quick with the basketball in her hands. She puts it on the floor and gets to the rim here against the zone defense for Oklahoma. You see just falls, loses her balance, falls hard right there. Terrific job of taking it hard to the hoop, but she's one of the smallest players on the floor, so it's a little dangerous in there in the paint.
She's only 5'6", but she's been roughed up all season long and continues to bounce back. The foul was on Liz Scott. So Harmon at the free throw line, unable to complete the three-point play, but there's Lauren Ebo with the board. Shot clock at 10. Alan Taylor thought about the three. Pulls up a few feet inside. Came up short. Gaston bobbles it. Tap back out to Harmon.
Well, this is a great sign for Texas early. Getting some extra opportunities. D. Gaston really active on the interior. Ebo active.
Another turnover. Keep in mind, Texas turned it over a season high 24 times in their last meeting against Oklahoma. And there is Taylor Robertson, who has now made a three in 33 consecutive games. She's the all-time leading three-point scorer in Big 12 history, women's or men's. Yeah,
and especially in transition, she can knock it down quickly. She gets that shot off so fast, it's very difficult to defend.
We watched her in practice before tonight's game, and she didn't miss at all. I mean, she wasn't even hitting the rim. She is automatic. Harmon tries to answer, unable to.
Oklahoma will run on a miss, on a make. They look to get points and push pace.
Too far, looking for Liz Scott. So you have Taylor Robertson, the senior, who is 7th all-time in NCAA history in threes made, now 80 away from the NCAA record.
Yeah, she looks for her shot, she makes shots. This is a young lady since her freshman year, has started every game except for her first game. She came off the bench and hit 8 threes in that game, so you know what number 30 does in red.
Shea Holley going to the rack. Now, Shea Holley got her first career start against Texas Tech. Earlier in the week had 4 points in 14 minutes and comes up with the early bucket here. Kennedy Tucker driving in on Holley. Kicks it out wide. Nevaeh Tot buries the three.
Really nice offense. Oklahoma is so good at spreading the floor, penetrating to the middle, and finding open shooters, and every single player can shoot the ball from the perimeter.
Oklahoma right now making the second most threes per game in Big 12 history. They're averaging nearly 10 threes a game. Foul underneath. The Sooners led by Jenny Baranczyk in her first season, 20-3, and Vic Schaefer has said she should be considered for a National Coach of the Year candidate.
Absolutely, and one of the rising stars in women's basketball right now. She's done a tremendous job with Oklahoma, and of course Vic Schaefer in his second season at Texas.
By the way, that was the second foul already on Liz Scott, with the junior from Houston. She is now out of the game for Oklahoma. Alan Taylor bumped hard by Kennedy Tucker. Another whistle, and I feel like, Andrea, every time these two teams play, it's going to be a physical battle. You know that in this rivalry.
Yeah, absolutely. There's a lot of emotion for this game, but there's also two teams that foul quite a bit. And Oklahoma, Texas, both at the top of the Big 12 in fouls per game at 20 or more per game.
Aaliyah Matharu drains the three. This is the earliest we've seen her come off the bench in a long time. Usually it's either late in the first or early in the second. On the other end, Kennedy Tucker fouled by Shea Holley.
Texas has got to get back on transition, even after there's a made basket. You see Matharu, she's come into the game for Rory Harmon, who's sitting down right now. She has got really great range. Been a little bit in the doghouse, I think, but made a great play on that first play. And here you see Tucker go into the rim. And just the thing is with Oklahoma, again, they get the ball down the floor really fast. They want to push pace all the time. You have got to defend one-on-one.
And a very good free throw shooting team, shooting 76% on the season compared to 66 for Texas. Alan Taylor just out of the reach of Kelby Washington. Matharu feeding Ebo, couldn't handle it.
Really nice defense right there against Ebo.
It's already 3 turnovers by Texas. Gaston pokes that one away. So a season high for Texas in turnovers this year was 24 against Oklahoma earlier this year. Last year, their most turnovers came against Oklahoma with 22.
And this year, Oklahoma playing this 1-1-3 zone defense, but it's an active defense. And you see Lampkin's hands right there defensively, gets her hand on the ball. It seems like it would be easy to pass the ball against a defense that's a zone defense, but you really have to be cautious against these savvy veteran players.
Vic Schaefer sporting the pink tie in honor of the annual Shoot for a Cure game to raise breast cancer awareness in the Central Texas community. A lot of fans wearing pink as well, players with pink sneakers. Skylar Vann dribbling into the paint, somehow regained control after Matharu bumped her but missed the bucket. Right now, Oklahoma shooting 80% from the field. That was their first miss, 4 of 5. Texas, 3 for 6. Another turnover, make it 4. Sooners with numbers back the other way. They kick it back out to Robertson. Misses badly there. The putback no good. And Matharu comes up with it. Texas catching a break.
Yeah, Texas lucky on the last 2 plays. Oklahoma not able to convert.
Alan Taylor doesn't get it to fall. Look at Ebo muscling her way into the paint.
Yeah, and that's something that's going to be so important for Texas today. It has been something Texas has been working on, how to be more physical in the paint, how to get some points in the paint and easy layups.
Texas is playing with intensity tonight. I know they're trailing right now early. They have come out playing aggressive. Wide open underneath, however, is Nadia Lampkin, the senior from Palm Bay, Florida.
And an assist right there for Oklahoma. Oklahoma is one of the teams, too, in the nation that is so good at sharing the basketball. A lot of assists per game. You have to be careful every time there's penetration. Somebody's relocating or finding a place to shoot.
Gaston's been quiet the last few games and turns it over again. Robertson. Now, you know, Oklahoma's known for their offense and especially their passing.
Yeah, absolutely. They are good with the basketball. They can shoot it, but guess what? They know how to share the rock as well. And inside, post to post, and that's 2. You look at Gaston and also Matharu, or the point guard, Rory Harmon, and they both have 2 turnovers apiece just against this defense. You have to read this defense. They're active. They're a veteran team. They're going to have their hands active, and you just need to be careful with the basketball.
Natasha Lattimore in the game, travels, another turnover. It's not a good sign. Vic Schaefer already has the jacket off and still have 4:40 to go in the first quarter.
Yeah, and 6 turnovers, right? So that was another turnover by Natasha Lattimore there, just not able to handle the pressure. She's being guarded by Maddie Williams, who's an experienced player. She's going to put a body on you, push you a little bit. You need to be able to respond.
Lattimore had one of her best games of the season against Texas Tech. 8 points, 9 boards, 3 blocks. With the turnover here with now 4.5 to go. Lattimore responds with the block on the other end. Texas pushing the pace. Alan Taylor resets. Looking for room, spinning, turning.
Great defense right there by Maddie Williams. And you see the value of at 5'11", 6 feet tall. She's guarding a smaller player, but she's got the quicks.
Lattimore driving. Got some handles there. They say she has guard skills, but missed it. Holly collides into Matharu. Texas, it's a new shot clock.
And that's 5 offensive rebounds for Texas. If they're making mistakes at the offensive end, they're also hitting the boards at the offensive end.
Matharu hoists one up off the back of the iron. Look at Holly underneath fighting for it. Jump ball possession arrow, Oklahoma.
This is why Shea Holly got the start at Texas Tech. She got the start tonight, the hometown girl. You can never underestimate the fact of hard work. She has worked her patootie off this year. Patootie, that's a nice way to say that.
The other way, Kelby Washington. Oh, just keeping it in, Kennedy Tucker. That one halfway down, back out. Skylar Van underneath with the bucket.
Yeah, Van is such a talented player, hitting the offensive boards right there. Coming off the bench this year quite a bit. She has really embraced the role of a sub off the bench for Jenny Baranczyk.
Texas on a scoring drought of almost 2.5 minutes. That one poked out of bounds. I tell you what, Oklahoma's offense is one of the best in the nation, but their defense is dominating right now.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's those active hands, this zone. They have gained more and more confidence, I think. Last year played a lot of man-to-man with Jenny Baranczyk. She has got them playing this 1-1-3 zone, and with experienced players, as you play it more, it's sort of a bit of a matchup, and they're getting their hands on basketballs.
They forced 7 Texas turnovers in the first 7 minutes. Ebo, Alan Taylor, driving baseline, denied, tapped out of bounds, and there is a whistle underneath.
Yeah, that foul's going to be on Gabby Gregory on the baseline right there. Gregory just coming back from being injured a lot of the last fall, getting back into the swing of things, trying to learn the new system.
Meanwhile, into the game comes Audrey Warren, who did a great job defensively on Vivian Gray the other night. Really frustrated, an elite scorer there in the Texas win. Texas shooting 66% from the line. There's their first free throw made of the night, 1 for 2. Lattimore underneath, misses the close one. We've seen that result a few times over the last few games, but there's Matharu with the steal, taking it in, heaves one up high with a miss. There's Lattimore again, and a foul on Oklahoma.
8 offensive rebounds for Texas right now. That's 2 in a row for Latasha Lattimore, and you see on the sideline, Jenny Baranczyk is not happy about that play, whatever was called, but tremendous hustle right here, and you see Matharu. She is so quick defensively and really, really savvy, I think. Quick with her hands. Probably should have faked, taken it up a little stronger. Texas at the free throw. And this is the thing that I'd like to see Texas do more, is figure out ways to get to the free throw line shooting free throws. They don't get there very often or often enough.
I think Jenny Baranczyk wanted a foul and the Matharu steal didn't get it. Look at Warren battling for it. Possession arrow Texas. Warren helped up. She is okay. Rory Harmon getting ready to check back into the game meanwhile for Texas. Replacing Aaliyah Matharu. A lot of changes early on in this first quarter in the lineup for the Longhorns.
It'll be interesting to see what Rory Harmon does now. She had 2 turnovers early. Has she sat on the bench for a moment and learned now how to take care of the basketball and run this team?
There's another turnover, number 8.
It was an offensive foul right there by Lauren Ebo. Got her elbow into Gabby Gregory on the inside. So a foul and a turnover.
Well, that came after Jenny Baranczyk was in the referee's ear about Texas being a little bit too physical. And that speech paid off. Back the other way, Nevaeh Tot. Last year, Tot had the 5th most assists in freshman history by OU, but it's Maddie Williams with the bucket. Williams, the only Big 12 player averaging 18 points, 8 boards, and more than 60 assists. Just a phenomenal player, the senior from Fort Worth.
And when she gets her hands on the basketball and starts getting downhill, it's hard to stop her.
Harmon down low, tried to force it to Ebo. I mean, this is unreal. 9 turnovers. We're not even 9 minutes in. Well, on Wednesday, Texas will be back in action, playing host to number 9 Iowa State. The schedule gets no easier for Vic Schaefer. Ashley Jones and the Cyclones. Ashley Jones scored 32 tonight in the win against TCU. Again, that's Wednesday, 7 p.m. Central on LHN and the ESPN app. There's a foul on Oklahoma. Audrey Warren. Like she was in pain.
Yeah, just a sideline out of bounds play, and they always look for Taylor Robertson like off of a flare screen, and Audrey Warren running in to Maddie Williams right there. They're talking to each other down at the other end of the floor, Williams and
first on Maddie Williams. Harmon Lattimore. Lattimore getting extended minutes here in the first quarter. Again, nearly had a double-double in the last game.
She's in there also for defensive purposes. She's hitting the boards right now, been effective at getting the offensive boards, but she's also long.
And making her presence felt offensively as well.
You see Aaliyah Matharu picking up full court again and almost causing another turnover.
Natasha Lattimore played a career-high 30 minutes against Texas Tech. That is Jody Conrad's favorite player, by the way, according to Vic Schaefer, Natasha Lattimore.
Yeah.
She always says, Coach, let's see more Lattimore.
I've heard that from Jody Conrad as well. She's like, I wish Vic would play her more.
He is answering that call tonight. Matharu with the steal all alone for the bucket. Texas within 2. Matharu's been shot out of a cannon tonight, especially defensively. Just over a minute to go in Austin. That one missed from outside Washington. Lattimore pulled it down. And another turnover.
That's 4 turnovers right there by Rory Harmon. But talking about turnovers and steals, look at Matharu. Her quickness, her ability to get in passing lanes, her discipline early in this game has paid off.
Right now, Texas with 10 turnovers, Oklahoma with 5.
It's a tough matchup for
Williams driving in on Lattimore and drew the foul on the freshman.
When you talk about Williams, she can play 1 through 5. She played at the 5 position a lot last season when Oklahoma had limited numbers, didn't really have but one center that could play, and oftentimes that person was hurt. She can play and handle the ball at the top, and if she starts going north to south, it is so difficult to guard her, and especially for someone like Lattimore, who's very young.
She's the NCAA's active leader in free throw percentage. She made 60 in a row at one point last year, but we just jinxed her. She is shooting 95% on the season from the charity stripe. Makes 1 of 2.
A little full court press here by Oklahoma.
Harmon, Rory Harmon with 3 turnovers, feeds it to Ebo with the bucket. Texas within 1. Back the other way. Kelby Washington looking for room, forced it. Texas with a chance to take the lead. Vic Schaefer screaming to slow it down. Stomping his feet on the floor. Finally, Texas hurt him. About a 1-second differential between the game clock and the shot clock. Longhorns shooting 47% in the first quarter. Oklahoma 50%.
Oklahoma in man.
Here goes Harmon, 5 on the clock. Pulls up, misses. Lattimore battling for it. Poked back in.
And the ball's going to be in Oklahoma's hands. And watch out for Oklahoma here, getting the ball down quickly and getting a shot off. Taylor Robertson has unlimited range. She'll be the one taking it out, it looks like.
1.1 on the clock. Heaves one down the court. Washington fires it up. That one way too strong. An entertaining first quarter, to say the least. Got a 1-point ball game here in Austin. Down the stretch.
Well, it's just her length, her ability to defend and block and alter shots at the rim.
See See if Texas can cut down on the turnovers, but what passing on the other end, and Nevaeh Tot gets it to fall off a great dish from Taylor Robertson.
Taylor Robertson is certainly a tremendous three-point shooter. Jenny Baranchak puts her at the free throw line in many cases on the offensive end, and she has just become a really good passer, averaging 3.4 assists per game this year on top of her scoring.
Tot with the miss, Matharu with the rebound. Aliyah Matharu, 3 rebounds, couple steals, 5 points. Matharu and Lattimore, the big names so far tonight for Texas. Matharu trying to find some room, going to her right, and an offensive foul.
That was an interesting call right there. From our angle, we couldn't tell what happened. It might have been that Matharu pushed off with her off arm, her left arm on her penetration to the basket. Nevaeh Tot, very quick defensively, can match that quickness of Matharu.
That may not sound like a big deal, but Aliyah Matharu is averaging 4 fouls per game in Big 12 play this year. That's her first tonight.
It's really limited Matharu's ability to stay on the floor for Vic Schaefer.
Skylar Vann driving in, kicks it out wide. Kennedy Tucker buries a tray right in front of the Texas bench.
And that's what happens every time Oklahoma penetrates into the paint. Defense collapse, they kick out, find shooters.
Oklahoma number 5 in the nation in 3-pointers made. Ori Harmon flying to the rack with a miss. She's gotten off to a rough start.
See, I love Roy Harmon's quickness. I love her ability to put the ball on the floor. She's going to go take a seat right now. But she's got to make better decisions as a point guard, both passing the basketball and when she goes in to shoot the ball. If you're that small, you can't get that far into the teeth of the defense and kind of throw it over your shoulder. It's tremendous when it goes in, but when it doesn't go in, it's a bad shot.
She's 1 for 4 from the field with 3 turnovers. And like you said, it's going to have a few minutes to sit down and think about her play right now. Skylar Vann kicks it out to Robertson. Back to Vann. Rattled around and out. Texas ball.
Yeah, pretty good defense right there by Audrey Warren on Taylor Robertson. Was able to guard her off of one of those weak side screens. And see how quick Vann can get the shot up, though, if you go under a screen.
Oklahoma's won 4 in a row, coming off a double overtime win against West Virginia. Scored 101 points in that game. Oh, it was double overtime, but still, this is an offense that is ridiculous. Matharu lobs it up, Lattimore grabs it down and puts it up and one!
That's the size we're talking about for Latasha Lattimore on the inside, and I'll tell you what, Aliyah Matharu has come to play today, using her quicks to get by the defense, gets the ball up high where only Lattimore can get to it, and she finishes.
It has been the Matharu and Lattimore show. They've combined for 10 points, 7 rebounds. The miss there, Lauren Ebo gets it to go. Again, I'll restate it. Texas coming out with great urgency, great intensity here in this Red River rivalry matchup. Ebo altered that shot, and there is Matharu. Texas with a chance to at least tie. Quick shot by Matharu. They still trail by 2. Back the other way. Nevaeh Tot pull-up jumper. No. Ebo throwing some bows there as Oklahoma surrounding her on defense.
And Vic Schaefer waving everybody off for the Texas, saying slow it down. He wants to control pace today. He doesn't want to be in a running game with Oklahoma unless he's picking and choosing those moments.
Foul on Kennedy Tucker, and it's easy to try to get caught up in that game when you're playing Oklahoma to match them shot for shot. That's not Texas's game.
Yeah, it's certainly not right now. Texas hasn't proven that they can play in a fast-paced game at the offensive end without turning the basketball over. They haven't proven that they could play in a quarter-court situation either, but you certainly want to be careful.
Warren off the inbounds, halfway down, back out. Oklahoma with numbers back the other way, 3-on-2. Robertson off the front of the rim a few times, but there is 5-2 Nevaeh Tot with the rebound. Williams drains the 3.
I love the smiles that Oklahoma has when they make plays like that, from the coaching staff to everybody on the bench. That was a nice job of sticking with it and figuring out a way to make a basket, and Vic Schaefer is not happy on the sideline.
Especially when you let a player like Tot jump in there and grab the board. Texas works it around to Alan Taylor and gets her first bucket of the night.
Here comes Oklahoma the other way.
And wide open underneath. That's the last player you can leave wide open. Maddie Williams, and Vic Schaefer says, I've seen enough. Timeout. We need to talk about it. Texas down by 5. We're going to take down the number 12 team in the nation off the Alan Taylor bucket. Maddie Williams, one of the best players in the country, racing down the court all alone.
Yeah, and Maddie Williams just can outrun Latasha Lattimore or Lauren Ebo. Now, I'm going to tell you, Latasha Lattimore can get down the floor fast. They just were not aware of what was going on. Maddie Williams is one of those special players. She does so many things for the Sooner team, whether it be in the quarter court situation, defensively, hitting the boards. But I think it's her quickness north to south that makes her truly special. Just recently named as one of the top 10 forwards, small forwards in the nation for that Cheryl Miller Award.
9th all-time leading scorer in Oklahoma history. She leads all scorers with 8 points so far tonight. Dee Gaston off the feed from Warren. A little too far deep, gets the board, has it taken away.
I think I counted over the last 4 games, Texas on their layups. We're at 50%, so it's 35 of 70 on layups. Those are plays right there with Dee Gaston you have got to finish. And it's getting late in the season, so you can't use the excuse that I'm young. You need to figure out a way to finish on the interior.
Audrey Warren driving from the wing, has a good path, can't get that to fall, and finally gets the putback to go. 3-point game.
Just incredible stats here today. 12 offensive rebounds for Texas right now. 11 turnovers for Texas, still in this game.
Maddie Williams tried to feed it to Todd, kicked ball on Warren. Texas 6 for 10 on layups tonight.
Yeah, and that's kind of the way it's been, about 50-50 with their layups. A lot of their points coming in the paint today. I think 20 of 25 points in the paint for Texas today. But they could have even more if they just make the layups.
Williams driving in past Gaston. Alan Taylor got knocked down. Oh, and Oklahoma steals it right away, and there's Tot with the bucket.
Yeah, Maddie Williams again, quick hand. She's had a 3, a transition bucket, a steal right there to another basket.
Vic Schaefer just shaking his head on the bench after another mental lapse by Texas. Dee Gaston was fouled.
And that's the thing. Oklahoma is the type of team, they're veteran, and they are very, very connected. They have fewer mental lapses than many other teams. Texas today has quite a few mental lapses, and that's been one of their problems, I think. You see Nevaeh Tot, just a sophomore, but very much into this game. Oklahoma doesn't get plays off. Even when they lose the ball, miss a shot, they do not stop playing.
Well, this is going to kill Texas in a close game. At the free throw line, they're now 2 for 7. Oklahoma with 15 points off of turnovers. They have forced 12 Texas turnovers. Vic Schaefer looks on.
And that's a pass right there that Dee Gaston has got to get.
Oh, what a pass from Tot to Robertson.
Yeah.
Nevaeh Tot approaching 80 assists on the season. She had 103 last year.
Well, that was almost a transition basket. Texas picking up full court, and
Matharu heaves one up early in the shot clock. Texas fortunate to get it back.
13 offensive rebounds for Texas.
Matharu barrels into the defender. And a whistle right there on the receiving end was Kelby Washington.
Yeah, Nevaeh Tot in transition is being guarded by a big here, and look at that look right there. You know, Nevaeh Tot earlier got a ball to Robertson too, and she does that look away. She's just really, really skilled. Her mom, Helen Darling, was a tremendous point guard as well in college and at the pro level in the WNBA.
Texas down 6 with about 4.5 to go from the corner. That is a big three they desperately needed from Matharu.
Terrific execution on the bob, the baseline out of bounds.
Matharu now has 8 points, matching her total from the last game against Texas Tech.
Policy.
Wide open underneath, 5'2", Nevaeh Tot. We're calling her name way too much.
Yeah, guarded by Matharu there, who just fell asleep, and Tot cutting towards the basket, gets the easy look.
Oklahoma 3 for their last 3 from the field. Warren under the bucket and drew the foul. Looks like it's going to be on Robertson. Now that is actually on Emma Svoboda, the freshman from California.
Yeah, savvy move right there by Audrey Warren, who's undersized on the interior. You know, listed at 5'8", 5'9". She plays the 4 position quite often, but her sweet spot is that short corner, is able to use the basket, get to the rim, get to the free throw line. Let's see if she can knock down some free throws.
Texas 3 for 8 from the line. Well, don't forget, it's softball season. Mary Iacopo, the 8th-ranked Longhorns, getting ready for their home opener Wednesday night against McNeese State. 4 p.m. Wednesday on LHN and the ESPN app. Wednesday, you got softball home opener, then women's basketball later that night here against Iowa State. There is Tot. Pretty good look from outside. Doesn't get it to fall. Out of bounds,
smile
Texas
on her face.
ball.
Did you see that? I mean, you know, right there, Williams brings the ball up. She's being guarded now by a smaller player for Texas, and is able to get to the rim, make a great pass. Did everything right, just the shot didn't go down. Has a big smile on her face when she comes up after trying to go for the basketball.
Nevaeh Tot leading the Sooners in assists in Big 12 play. On the other end, Warren double teamed. Nearly turns it over. Somehow Texas gets the bucket. Shea Holly.
Shall we say another offensive rebound for Texas.
Just like that, it's a 1-point game. Dee Gaston applying the pressure. Here is Washington circling around with the miss. Texas with a chance to take the lead. Harmon streaking down the court. Lobs it up for Warren. And Texas jumps in front 35-34. Fans come alive here at the Irwin Center with less than 3 to play in the half. Svoboda looking for help, gives it up to Tot. Driving and dishing to a wide open Maddie Williams. She's now got 10.
Yeah, and Audrey Warren right now guarding Taylor Robertson on the perimeter. She's usually their best help defender, but not able to help because she's on the 3-point shooter.
Harmon nearly threw it away. She has seemed a little unsettled here in the first half. Warren driving amongst the trees and goes glass. Texas back in front. Audrey Warren and Aaliyah Matharu tied for the team lead with 8 points. Got a back and forth affair in Austin with 2 to play in the half. Robertson has been held at bay so far. Feeds it to Washington. To Svoboda, bobbled it and turns it over.
Tiana Gaston has been playing very good defense against Svoboda, who's come in off the bench. Oklahoma with a little bit of foul trouble at the 5 position with Scott sitting for extended minutes. 2 fouls, and Tiana Gaston's really good at getting in passing lanes, has that length to be able to contest shots and rebound.
Vic Schaefer said he felt like Texas easily could have come out on top in their first meeting, a 65-63 loss. And the Longhorns and Sooners once again locked in a battle in the rematch. Shea Holly fell down momentarily. Tot over to Robertson. Robertson just 2 buckets in the first half, that's it. Kaylee Perkins, the freshman, turns it over. Oklahoma has gone cold offensively over the last few series. Shea Holly, wide open, comes up short. That Would have been a huge, less than a minute to play in the half. Robertson goes right past Warren for the bucket. Sooners back in front.
And Taylor Robertson's got that ability. She's pushing in transition, usually with somebody that pulls up from three, but Audrey Warren sticking to her like Velcro, just goes to the rim.
Texas shooting 45% in the half. Oklahoma 53. 30 seconds to go in quarter number 2. Alan Taylor darting into the paint. And a foul on the rebound. Nydia Lampkin pulled it down. Looks like it was on Dee Gaston. That will be her first. Skylar Vann comes back into the game for Oklahoma. Maddie Williams takes a seat on the bench. Shot clock is off. Texas pressuring on the inbound. Sooners leading scorers in the half. Williams with 10, Top with 9. There's Skylar Vann. Warren all over her. Clock at 10. Nevaeh Tot, 5. Make it 2 on the clock. Makes her move. Passes it up. Last second shot, no good. What a ball game we got going on at the Irwin Center. A 1-point contest at the break. Sooners up 38-37. Texas down by 1. A little bit of different starting lineup here to begin the second half as we saw to start the game. Warren, Ebo, Harmon, Holly, and Alan Taylor getting this started, and immediately the second half begins with a turnover, number 13 on the night for Texas.
Yeah, that was the story of the first half for Texas. 12 turnovers in the first half. Their saving grace was they got 14 offensive rebounds, able to get some points in the paint, second chance opportunities. They need to clean it up. Right now, they have their better defensive team out on the floor. A little bit smaller, going a little small ball.
There's a turnover. Joanne Allen Taylor with the steal. Comes up short, gets the board, throws it back up. There's Shea Holly. And Texas regroups offensively. Lori Harmon with a quiet first half. 2 points. Shot clock at 6. Holly pull-up jumper. No. Ebo with fingertips on it. Keeps it alive.
17 offensive boards for Texas. They are working very hard on the interior to keep the ball alive and get other second opportunities.
Texas more than doubling up Oklahoma in the rebound category. Shot clock again winding down at 4. Alan Taylor gets it to go. Texas back in front.
Nice execution, nice patience.
Oklahoma, meanwhile, shot 52% in the first half. Sooners have beaten Texas each of the last 2 times 65-63, and last year 68-63. And a whistle.
Liz Scott back in the lineup right now. See her number 34.
Foul on Audrey Warren. Shea Holly takes it in for the bucket. Texas with aggressive defense early here in the third.
Texas is known for getting in the passing lanes. A really nice start here in the second half, doing that very thing.
Longhorns have forced 9 turnovers. Audrey Warren collides with Maddie Williams. Another turnover.
Yeah, train wreck on the interior right there. And guess who was involved is number 31 in white.
Largest Texas lead of the night. Up by 3, leading scorers for the Longhorns, Warren and Matharu with 8 apiece. Warren trying to create some space, lobs it down low to Ebo. Again, we always say Audrey Warren, an underrated passer. And Ebo will head to the line.
Yeah, she does a really nice job, Warren does, of using her pivot foot and finding gaps in the defense to either get her shot off, draw contact here. Good job of staying under control, and it's a shame Lauren Ebo couldn't have just gone with a quick up there before the defense was able to recover, but underrated. We've talked about Audrey Warren's value to this Texas team in so many ways. She does so many things.
It's the second foul of the night, by the way, on Taylor Robertson.
Texas free throw shooting again is a problem. 5 for 10 in the first half. Start off here in the second half with a miss.
Makes 1 of 2. Lauren Ebo with 7 points and 7 boards. Texas applying the pressure. Maddie Williams takes it across half court, putting the moves on Harmon. The freshman staying right with her. Tries to force it down low. And that one swatted away by Shea Holly. Had a block in the last game. Comes up big defensively there. Shot clock at 7. Williams with Holly in her face. Oh, and a whistle. Holly can't believe it. That was a big shaper.
One of the things Texas struggled with in the first half is help side defense, and not on this play. Shea Holly's like, not in my house, and she's had limited playing time in her career, but has come up big in the last couple of games.
Sophomore who played at Westlake. Did pick up her second foul. Maddie Williams makes the first free throw.
Well, it's so unusual to see Holly and Audrey Warren play in the game together. Usually they substitute for each other, so they have that a little extra length on the perimeter, maybe match up better with Oklahoma with this lineup.
Shea Holly with 6 points. Again, making her second career start. Audrey Warren immediately drives baseline, pulls up. Rory Harmon, 2 points, 1 assist. That's it for the freshman so far. 3 turnovers. Shot clock at 7 from the corner. Alan Taylor was looking for contact and got it.
There's a little bit of a late whistle right there. Alan Taylor, she's so powerful with her penetration to the middle, whether it's from the wing, she gets into the lane, she uses that powerful jump shot, goes up strong, and really, really great mid-range game player.
Texas 6 of 12 at the line tonight. And Alan Taylor with 6 points now. Texas trying to snap a 4-game Oklahoma winning streak. Sooners ranked number 12 in the nation. It's our highest ranking in 6 years. Tot hands it off to Williams. Tot had a strong first half with 9 points. 5'2" sophomore. Rory Harmon got shoved to the ground by Maddie Williams. That's going to be the second on the senior Williams.
Yeah, Texas has been switching defensively, and a couple of times now, Rory Harmon has ended up on Maddie Williams and gives up quite a few pounds and quite a few inches. Just taking a charge right there in a different kind of way.
This is a reversal of the first half when Texas couldn't stop turning over the ball in the opening minutes of the game.
Well, Texas is going with a smaller lineup, more ball handlers out there, the ability to defend better. We saw this at Texas Tech. Vic Schaefer wanted his better defensive lineup out there.
Alan Taylor, shot clock again under 10. Warren goes paint. Ebo pulls down the big board, and again Lauren Ebo draws the foul. That brings the Texas bench off their feet, and again Ebo will head to the free throw line.
You just see Ebo, she has been working very hard the last few games, probably the last 6 weeks has gotten so much better on the interior, and able to use that size of hers to really clear out some room, get an extra shot.
Makes the free throw. Andrea, that's a huge 3rd foul on Taylor Robertson.
And Robertson a little quiet today, not scoring a lot of points. It's been Tot and Williams doing a lot of the scoring today.
Robertson has as many fouls as field goals. Limited to 3, 7 total points. Flying down the court is Van. Bit out of control, heaves one up and gets it to go anyway.
Yeah, and that's something, the versatility of Oklahoma. They can have anybody handle the ball. You put Van in there playing at the 4 position right now, takes it up against Shea Holly.
Texas outscoring Oklahoma 8-4 here in the second half. Seems like every possession going into the single digits on the shot clock. There's the rejection by Skylar Vann, out of bounds off Oklahoma. There will be 6 on the shot clock.
And this is an area where Texas is very good. That baseline out of bounds plays, they execute them usually very, very well.
Taylor Robertson heads to the bench. 7 points and 3 fouls. Shot clock at 2. Warren heaves one up. Oh, and she got fouled on the 3. Vann can't believe it. Get another look at that one. And that'll be Vann's 3rd.
Yeah, we talked about Texas execution. This wasn't good execution, but a heads-up play by Audrey Warren. You see Vann just trying to get around that screen by Ebo and called for the foul. There wasn't much there.
Texas will take it, but that's a bit of a phantom foul. And again, that's huge because that's her 3rd.
Well, and it looked like there was just contact by Vann on Lauren Ebo, and I didn't see the contact on the shooter.
Jenny Baranczyk is furious on the Oklahoma sidelines. And Texas starting to get into a groove now in the free throw line. So far in this half, 6 of 8 from the line. I think it's 7 to 9. Largest lead of the night for the Longhorns, up by 6. And a timeout is called. Jenny Baranczyk continues to get into the ear of the officials. With her team down by 6, being outscored by 7 here in the second half.
Yeah, Jenny Baranczyk, you spoke about following the official down the floor, and I'm not sure that it was a technical foul. That's what I thought. I didn't see anybody call a timeout, so technical foul being called. Audrey Warren going back to the free throw line.
And Vic Schaefer said, hey, I'm the calm one this time. This has nothing to do with me. And Audrey Warren makes the free throw.
That might have been the first time this year.
How about that? And Texas, dare I say, they can't miss from the free throw line this half, Andrea.
And the thing about this for Texas is it's so rare that they get to the free throw line this early in the half or in the game, and they're really doing a nice job of getting to the free throw line, manufacturing some points.
Each of these teams, 4 wins against ranked opponents this year. Audrey Warren getting the crowd hyped up here for this 64th edition of the Red River Rivalry. Texas leads the all-time series 36-27. Longhorns have extended their lead despite not making a field goal over the last 3 minutes. Warren got hacked, and a whistle. Oh, there's traveling on Audrey Warren. Yeah,
before that travel by Audrey Warren, Texas was looking so much more comfortable in their half-court offense against this zone.
Oklahoma comes flying off the inbounds, the pass out wide. They're working around to Maddie Williams, no hesitation, and no good. But the putback by Liz Scott, there's a miss as well. Lauren Ebo getting close to a double-double. She's got 9 and 9. An impressive 3rd quarter for the Longhorns. Ebo, Harmon wide open, passes it up. Shot clock again in single digits. Shea Holly calls for it, trying to get around Liz Scott, and has it just taken away from her. That'll be Washington. That one poked away and stolen by Rory Harmon with a clear path to the bucket. Texas on a 10-2 run, 7-0, dominating the 3rd quarter. And another miss by Oklahoma. The 2nd highest scoring offense in the nation has gone cold.
Oklahoma going to man now. Texas figuring out how to attack that 2-3 zone of theirs.
Alan Taylor, nobody got in their way. Nothing run.
The wheels coming off right now for the Sooners. Texas with a lot of confidence.
And play is momentarily halted here in Austin. Texas on a 12-2 run over the last 3 minutes. Meanwhile, Oklahoma on a scoring drought of 2+ minutes. What's been the difference here in this half?
Oh, Texas looks completely different, I think, at the offensive end and also making plays defensively. Things have just been rolling. And it started with their offensive rebounds, getting to the free throw line because they're aggressive with the basketball rather than turning the ball over against that quarter court defense.
Well, Texas is dominating in the paint as they work on the clock. Texas with 34 points in the paint. That's not usually a category they have a huge advantage in, and they're out-rebounding Oklahoma 32-15.
Yeah, and 18 of those rebounds are offensive rebounds, second chance points, 19 second chance points for Texas today. Texas was outscored 20-30 in the paint in the game at Oklahoma a couple of weeks ago. Vic Schaefer in practice today saying, I do not want to see that happen again.
Now keep this in mind as they work on a timing error with the clock. Oklahoma, they are comeback queens this year. They have come back from double-digit deficits 6 different times this year, 3 times against ranked opponents, and they also did it last year against Texas on this very floor. They were down by 12 in the 4th quarter to Texas and ended up winning, so this one is far from over.
Absolutely, and for Oklahoma, what they need to do is they need to figure out a way to get some 3-pointers or get to the free throw line, or both probably. 4 for 11 from 3 right now for Oklahoma. They haven't had very many open looks here today, but they haven't gotten to the free throw line. This is something where Oklahoma has really hurt Texas in the past, is free throws when the clock is stopped.
Yeah, just 4 free throws made by Oklahoma all night. Texas has made 14. 14-21, but more importantly, the Longhorns in the second half, 9 of 11 from the free throw line. The leading scorer for the Longhorns, Audrey Warren, coming off the bench with 13 points for the Sooners. It's Maddie Williams with 12 points. And again, they are still working on the clock as the players head to the bench to talk things over here. The big story defensively, Texas has really contained Taylor Robertson, who's the all-time leading 3-point scorer in Big 12 history. She has hit 1 3 tonight. That's it. More on that coming up after the break. Texas up here over the Sooners by 12. Comparison brought to you by thezebra.com. Field goal percentage about even. Texas 15 turnovers, but the Longhorns dominating in rebounds 32-15, and they have a double-digit lead. Joanne Allen Taylor having a strong game, 8 points. And by the way, Andrea, I know you spoke to her earlier in the week. She's a mechanical engineering major and wants to design cars. Let's hear what she had to say about that.
What kind of car would you be?
Let's see, maybe a Bugatti or a Rolls Royce, something real luxurious.
And you like shoes?
Shoes, fashion.
How many pairs of shoes do you got?
Oh, don't even ask me that question. Over 50 pairs, yeah.
How do you like your pink shoes for today?
Oh yeah, those are tough. Those are tough.
Are they pea?
Yeah, they're pea. They're pea. They're pea.
Surprise right there was that I even used pea in a sentence, which I will never, I promise you, do again in my life.
I've never heard of that. I've never heard of that in my life, but that's what they're saying nowadays. And you were in on the lingo. How about that?
No, I swear that's the last time I'll use it, but you know, Joanne Allen Taylor's such a great young student athlete. Got a promising future, whether she designs cars, has aspirations to play in the WNBA, is hoping to be drafted here in this coming summer, and would love to be able to extend her basketball life as a player.
By the way, they've corrected the shot clock issue. They put 3:52 on the clock. They didn't start it on the last possession, so they finally solved that issue. And here we go. Audrey Warren goes down on the floor for it, nearly took it away. And a foul right there. Looked like it was on Rory Harmon. The Longhorns dominating over the last 2 minutes on a 9-0 run and outscoring Oklahoma 12-2 over the last 3.5 minutes.
I think this smaller lineup that Vic Schaefer is playing is really good defensively, giving Oklahoma a lot of problems. They're able to get out in the passing lanes.
Holly got a hand on it defensively and then came up with it, taking it coast to coast. Shea Holly. How about this start to the second half by Texas, and the fans feeling it as well.
How about her teammates giving some love to Shea Holly? She is heads up right here, able to grab this ball, go down the floor, and get a layup, but you should have seen her on the way back. She caused that turnover for Oklahoma as well, just with a hustle play.
Oklahoma has turned it over 8 times here in the first 6.5 minutes of the half. Audrey Warren drives, looking for fouls, none called.
Yeah, but Audrey Warren is continuing to be aggressive with the basketball against this defense. Showing a lot of confidence out there at the offensive end.
Nobody better at finding contact than Audrey Warren.
Does she find it or does it find her?
A little bit of both. She does have 13 points to lead the Longhorns so far. In fact, that leads all scorers. You're talking about 2 of the best scorers in the conference she's going up against in Robertson and Williams. There is Williams with another miss. Oklahoma on a scoring drought of 3.5 minutes. 14-2 Texas run. They're up by 14. I mean, in recent history, these 2 teams have gone down to the wire over their last few matchups. Alan Taylor gets the roll. Texas outscoring Oklahoma 21-4 here in the third. Sooners driving right into Audrey Warren, offensive foul, and they are completely flustered. Timeout here in Austin, Texas up big. It's almost here, March Madness, just 3 weeks left in the regular season, and then the real season gets underway as Jody Conrad looks on. It has to be impressed with this performance and the halftime adjustments made by Texas and Vic Schaefer.
Yeah, absolutely, and Texas has done a tremendous job in this half, turning the ball over, turning Oklahoma over. 9 turnovers for Oklahoma already in this quarter, just 1 for 6 shooting.
And just 1 field goal in this half for Oklahoma, but for Texas, they can't miss. The Longhorns on a 15-0 run. Finally answering on the other end is Nydia Lampkin, just the 2nd basket made this half by Oklahoma. And a whistle.
I think it's another shot clock or game clock situation right now, timing situation. You always hate this as a player, as a coach. You have momentum, probably for Baranchek's team. She'd like to have a little extra time and they can gather themselves.
So if you are Oklahoma then, speaking of Coach Baranchek, great season, 20-3. I mean, off to the best start since 2009. What do they need to do here to stem the tide?
I think one of the things you have to do is hit some easy buckets like they did on that last shot by Lampkin. Get the ball inside, get a quick look, create something on the interior so your exterior shooters can get open. But really for Oklahoma, they've had a hard time even getting catches and open looks on the perimeter today. And certainly we talked about Taylor Robertson and how prolific of a scorer she is, and she's been limited in the number of shots she's taken, the scores she's had. and her time on the floor, really. And if you're not a defensive team, like Oklahoma isn't necessarily known as a team that can really step it up defensively, they're going to have to take some chances here, figure out ways to get rebounds and run the ball. It's tough to come back from a deficit, but this is a team, as you mentioned earlier, that has
6 double-digit deficits they've rallied back from. Jennie Baranczyk, what a hire Oklahoma made in Baranczyk. She replaced Sherry Cole, who stepped down after 25 years. Baranczyk, longtime head coach at Drake, had a lot of success there. 2-time Missouri Valley Conference Coach of the Year. And all she's done here is lead them to their best start in, 13 years. Last time they started 20-3, they went to the Final Four.
I think Jennie Baranczyk is also extremely grateful for the players that were already in the program when she arrived, and this was not a cupboard that was bare. When you have players like Taylor Robertson and Maddie Williams and a lot of the freshmen that they had last year that got a lot of minutes.
A few of these new Big 12 coaches took over pretty stacked teams, whether it's Coach Baranczyk or Nikki Collin at Baylor with Nalissa Smith and Queen Egbo. They're pretty good situations to walk into.
Certainly, and Oklahoma, I think, has been the most consistent. Baylor struggled a little bit, I think, early on with a little bit of a different style of play, a little more freedom for all 5 players on the floor. But Oklahoma has been very, very consistent throughout this year, and that's why they've been so good. They've got 3 losses until coming into today's game, and those have been really respectable losses. K-State, Iowa State, and Oregon. Nothing to be ashamed of.
I think we've had more time not played than actually played here in the third quarter.
We get a chance to catch our breath. That first half was insane.
Sooners 9-2 start in conference play, their best since 2009. Again, 4-2 against ranked teams, top 16 teams. They swept Baylor. You know, they won 4 in a row. 3 of those 4 wins came by 2 points or less, including their last outing, a double OT win against West Virginia. So they're no stranger to close games and comebacks. We've mentioned that, but this is an awfully big deficit right now as we're a minute and a half away from entering the fourth quarter.
The clock has been adjusted to 1:33 with 27 on the shot clock.
All righty, take 2. Warren Harmon, Holly Ebo, and Alan Taylor on the floor for Texas, and now Vic Schaefer getting in the ear of the officials saying, I had momentum here. What's going on? Alan Taylor had a wide open look, passed it up. Texas on a 15-2 run. On fire, 5 of their last 6 from the field. Harmon, perfect pass to Ebo, rolls around and out. Gets the board, another miss, another rebound, and fouled. Double-digit rebounds now for the senior, Lauren Ebo.
And 19 offensive rebounds for Texas. We keep talking about their offensive rebounds today. Unable to finish on the first try. Has that size advantage on the interior.
That's a big 3rd foul on Maddie Williams. Their 2-star offensive players, Williams and Robertson. 3 apiece, and Texas 10 for 12 from the free throw line in this half.
Does Lauren Ebo have pink fingernails today? It's the pink game.
Let's get it close. It is in honor of the Shoot for Cure game.
Surprised
Texas,
you didn't notice that before.
Brought it to my attention. Thank you. Texas shooting the lights out, by the way. A double-double for Ebo, 11 and 11. Harmon goes to the deck and a whistle. And Vic Schaefer saying she had her hand on the ball. The refs, I don't think they buy it.
Harmon is just a menace with her on-the-ball defense. So quick, really, really figured out Vic Schaefer's system as far as how to defend one-on-one, but got herself in trouble right there going for the basketball.
3rd foul on Harmon. She'll be replaced by Aaliyah Matharu. Matharu played really well in the first half, but this is her first appearance of the second half. 8 points, 5 boards in 13 minutes. Van heaves one up. Again, this is one of the greatest 3-point shooting teams in the land. They just airball that, and they are 4 of 14 from downtown. After that miss. Less than a minute to go in the first half. Warren nearly had it taken away. Texas has outscored Oklahoma 25-6 here in the third quarter. Matharu. 6 on the shot clock. Alan Taylor making her move in the paint, gets it to fall. Joe's got 12.
Yeah, and that's what Joanne Allen Taylor can do for you. Just court awareness and not good execution by Texas. And just solves the problem right there and puts it in.
Texas with a dominating third quarter, outscoring Oklahoma by 21. Van in the paint, 2 horns in her face. Clock at 3. Robertson fires one up and misses, and Texas will take a 20-point lead into the fourth quarter, holding Oklahoma to their fewest points in a quarter this season. Joanne Allen Taylor helping Texas end the quarter on a 19-2 run.
All ball out here, but you have players that respond. They start taking care of the basketball. They buckle down defensively and cause turnovers.
Scott with a clear path. Drew the foul on Shea Holley. This is the most points Texas has scored in Oklahoma in their last 3 meetings. They were held to 63 in each of the previous 2 contests.
Dick Schaefer wondering what that call was. I'm not sure what he's concerned about. That was clearly a block by Shea Holley. Maybe he's talking about something else.
Third foul on her. By the way, the largest deficit Oklahoma has come back from to win this year was 19. They trailed by 19 against Utah and eventually rallied for the win.
It will be so difficult for Texas to come back, I think, in this game because of Texas's defense. Texas is able to find shooters, not give Oklahoma, unless they just fall asleep on the shooters, it's going to be difficult for Oklahoma.
Yeah, Oklahoma is in a hole again, just 6 points, just 2 field goals this half. Warren quickly going baseline. Tried to hand it off to Ebo, turned it over, back the other way. Washington fouled by Holley. That's going to be 4 on Shea Holley. No easy buckets, at least, given up this half by Texas. Where we did see that in the first half, a few lapses, and Holley will be replaced by Rory Harmon.
Yeah, and that's a shame to see Shea Holley go to the bench. She's provided tremendous minutes in the third quarter here, the start of the fourth as well. With her hustle, her size, her ability, she and Audrey Warren on the interior have done a terrific job of their help side defense.
For Shea Holley tonight, 8 points and a huge block that really got the crowd into it in the first half. Kelby Washington, freshman from Norman.
And that's where Oklahoma wants to be, at the free throw line in transition. That's how they can come back.
Oklahoma, they're the only team in the nation to be in the top 30 in field goals made, free throws made, and threes made, and they struggled in all those categories. Texas turns it over. Robertson trying to get hot. Struggled from downtown. They're now 4 of 15. Struggled at the free throw line, 6 for 10. Just can't get anything going offensively.
And that shot by Robertson is not unusual for her. She's got the ability to shoot from deep and rarely misses.
Ebo taps it over. Harmon took a spill. Well, on Wednesday, Texas has got another ranked battle coming up against number 9 Iowa State. This time, the Jones sisters will be playing in that game after missing the previous outing. Texas win, tip-off 7 p.m. Central Wednesday night on LHN and the ESPN app.
Yeah, that's going to be an offensive foul as we come back by Audrey Warren. Audrey's wondering what's going on. Vic's wondering what's going on. I didn't have a clear look at that.
Third foul on Warren. Leah Matharu coming right behind Washington, nearly took it away. Williams left wide open. It's been that kind of a night for Oklahoma. They can't even make the open ones. And then Joanne Allen Taylor fouls Robertson on the 3 attempt.
Yeah, and again, the Sooners are heading back to the free throw line. This is not what you want to see. How about that quick release for Taylor Robertson? And One of the things that really impresses me about her team is how often they pass the ball directly to her sweet spot of where she needs to receive it to get a shot off quickly.
Robertson heads to the free throw line, shooting 95% on the season coming into this one, third best in the nation. Coming into tonight, she had missed one free throw in her career against Texas, 23 of 24. She's made the first two. Here, Latasha Lattimore getting ready to check in for Texas. She had a strong first half. Getting ready to make her first appearance of half number 2, and Robertson goes 3 for 3 on that trip. Sutton back to a at least more manageable 15-point deficit for Oklahoma.
Yeah. I'm interested to see how Texas does defensively with this bigger lineup. With Lattimore in, she's going to have to guard Maddie Williams. So let's see if there's a change in the Texas intensity defensively.
Lattimore, Ebo, Harmon, Alan Taylor, Warren on the floor. Alan Taylor with the pull-up jumper. Joanne Allen Taylor with 14. She's led them in scoring in each of the last 2, and one shy of doing that so far tonight. Skylar Vann, the sophomore. There's another miss from outside for Oklahoma, 4 of 17. Listen, they live and die by the 3 at times, and they're dying by it right now.
And Lauren Ebo with her 13th rebound of the game.
That ties a career high for the senior. There's a travel, but you know, speaking of Ebo, I think over the last 3 weeks of the season, she's played the best defense I've ever seen her play. Contained Aoka Lee, did a nice job in the most recent games, offensively, attacking tonight as well. 11 points, 13 boards for the senior.
Vic Schaefer has challenged her to be more of a leader, I think, out on this floor. He has so few upperclassmen on this Texas team.
Washington and Warren get tied up a little bit. Things getting chippy. Surprise, surprise between the Sooners and the Longhorns.
Kelby Washington may not know Audrey Warren as of yet, with Washington being a freshman, but you don't want to tussle with Audrey Warren very often.
Forced the jump ball, possession arrow, Texas.
Texas needs to care for the basketball. Ball control here, no bad passes. Execute and get a shot.
Alan Taylor putting the moves on the freshman. Washington, couldn't finish, but that was pretty.
Yeah, she's Joanne Allen Taylor doesn't do anything flashy. She just fundamentally does what you need to do out on the floor. Reads the defense, uses her dribble well, goes someplace with the dribble. You never see her dribble in place.
Texas out shooting the second highest scoring team in the nation, 46% to 42%. Oh, and Vic Schaefer just shouted out Rory as Harmon just picked up her 4th foul. Well, the good news for Texas, they've been able to put together a performance like this without Harmon really having much of an impact. Freshman having a bit of an off night, 4 points, 4 fouls, 3 turnovers. Williams tied up. Audrey Warren has been everywhere defensively. Harmon nearly stole it. Washington goes right by her. And Ebo called for the foul. So now Oklahoma with a parade to the free throw line here in the 4th quarter.
I like the aggressiveness that Kelby Washington shows out there. She was a starter for Jenny Baranchek's Sooners this year as a freshman. Did a tremendous job. Quite the passer. Had record numbers of assists in a couple of games this season, but just incredibly confident on the floor. Coming back after missing a few games in January.
She's having one of the best freshman seasons in Oklahoma's history as far as assists are concerned. And the foul right there on Liz Scott as Alan Taylor came down with it. Liz Scott, who hit the game winner against Texas, game winner against Baylor, just has been in foul trouble right from the opening seconds of the game. Second half field goal percentage. Oklahoma 17% from the field, Texas 50. Well, the old adage is Defense usually beats offense, and Texas's defense has showed up tonight. Alan Taylor with the shot clock at 2. Oklahoma down 16 with 6.5 to go. Williams takes on Texas 1-on-3. That didn't end well.
When Ebo did a tremendous job of getting back in transition defense to be the big body in the middle, not giving up anything easy. We've seen Williams get down the floor quickly. Didn't happen that time.
Warren back out to Harmon as the shot clock dips below 10. Harmon looking for some room. And goes glass. Rory's got 6. The Big 12, there's so many dangerous teams in the conference this year. And you know, Texas towards the middle of the pack in the standings, but just dominating a team that really, before tonight's game comes to an end, was a half game out of first. Aubrey Warren with the steal and the finish. Texas has forced 12 turnovers in this half. 19 on the night. Timeout on the floor. Horns up big.
Side defense is so much better.
19 turnovers forced, 12.5. How surprised are you by this, frankly, utter domination of the number 12 team in the nation right now by Texas?
Well, a little bit, because Texas has been a little inconsistent, and you always worry with a young team if they're able to come out with the urgency and intensity that's needed. I'll tell you what, though, Lauren Ebo on the interior today has been a load to handle. She has been on the offensive boards. She has created space for herself, getting to the free throw line. Had a couple of lapses, I think, getting back defensively, but we saw her ability to get back in defense and in transition. That's something that Vic Schaefer needs game in and game out.
This would be such a big win for Texas, considering they had lost 3 in a row. They pick up the win at Texas Tech, but it was an ugly win. It was scrappy. It was hard fought, excuse me. and to come out here and play like this.
I hate those hard fought
games. All laughing, yeah.
You should see the hard fought games they have coming up.
Yeah, I'll let you go through that. We look at the stretch coming up. Iowa State, another one. Hey, the Jones sisters are back there.
Oh, this is a tough stretch. This is a critical stretch for Texas, for everybody in the conference, but for Texas especially. They do not want to start dropping lower and lower with the losses. They need some wins. Oklahoma would be a huge win today. Iowa State at home is going to be big with the Jones sisters back. They're at the top of the conference right now. At West Virginia, you go on the road with the young team, you're not sure what to expect. So West Virginia, K-State, and then you come home and you maybe have a couple of games that look a little bit easier, but you can't let down your guard.
It's going to be another hard-fought one on Wednesday night against Iowa State. Maddie Williams from the corner. Oklahoma can't buy a bucket. Williams knocked down by Audrey Warren, but helped back up.
Those two have been going at each other for 4 years. It's not just tonight. So they've been talking throughout the night. They've been very physical with each other.
And both from Fort Worth.
Yep.
Number 4 on Audrey Warren. Oh, on Maddie Williams. No foul. Maddie Williams. It is interesting. You look at Maddie Williams and Taylor Robertson. So with those two averaging at least 18 points, Oklahoma, one of just 3 teams in the nation with 2 18-point scorers. Robertson has just 10 points tonight. Williams has just 12, and they each have 4 fouls. I mean, it hasn't been going for them offensively. Hasn't been their night.
And to go with that, Oklahoma, I believe they're 3rd in the nation with their assists per game, almost 20 assists per game. And tonight they had 11 as of a couple of minutes ago. Just not able to pass the ball freely, get in the flow offensively.
Warren, Audrey Warren with a team-high 19 points.
She's been roaming that baseline all night long, making hay, as they say. In Fort Worth, I'm sure.
Off the bench for 19. Playing great defense as well, forcing Van to just spin around in circles. For Audrey Warren, season high 19 points tonight. She's getting close to her career high as well. It's 21.
Yeah, I was watching film on her yesterday from last season's games with Oklahoma, and she just plays with so much more purpose this year.
Nearly came up with the steal there. Runs right into the shooter.
Even on that play right there, she gets around, gets her hand on the ball, tips it, tries to take the charge.
When you look at the teams in the Big 12, where do you think Texas sits? Forget about standings. In the Lloyd rankings, where do they sit?
You know, I have to kind of look at it more nationally and also in the rankings. I mean, I think they're like 3 or 4 in the Big 12. I think they're a 12 to 15 team in the rankings. Do I think they have the ability to beat anybody on any given night? Absolutely, especially when you have the kind of defense Vic Schaefer preaches game in and game out. It's been their offense lately that's just been sputtery. They've been inconsistent.
Eagle for miss. Holly comes flying in. She's been flying all over the place. Oklahoma ball.
One of the great athletes, really, for Texas on the floor is Shea Holly. Less of a basketball player, more of an athlete.
8 points in 22 minutes for Holly. Texas just dominating in rebounds, doubling up Oklahoma, 44-22. There's Holly getting a hand on it. Texas ball, everything going the Longhorns' way. And all Jenny Baranczyk can do is just watch. I mean, this may be, let's say, the worst loss, because it's not a bad loss, but such an impressive performance by an Oklahoma opponent. I don't know if Baranczyk's seen one like this year. I mean, Vic Schaefer, especially in the second half, his Longhorns have taken it to the Sooners.
Well, it's been both ends of the floor, offensively and defensively. I think the fourth quarter on offense has been a little less smooth, but their defense has been pretty darn good.
Ebo again to the free throw line.
Vic Schaefer is going to have several holes in the floor over there on that side of the floor.
Texas 80% from the line this half, 12 of 15. Liz Scott just fouled out of the game for Oklahoma.
Texas, we've talked about the fact that they've struggled from the free throw line throughout the season, and that game at Texas Tech, they shot the ball well from the free throw line for the first time in 4 or 5 games. Today they're shooting well. Stop it.
Roll around and out. Longhorns have made 17 free throws. Ebo's got 12 points and 13 rebounds. Take it 13 and 13 and a career high 7 free throws made. That one hoisted up immediately by Kaylee Perkins. Williams trying to save it. She does. Nice hustle by Maddie Williams. Oklahoma finally gets a 3. They're now 6 of 21 on threes.
There's really not much you can do about that other than just not let Robertson catch the ball there. It's incredible range.
15-point game, just over 2 to play. Texas just working it around, killing the clock. Holly bobbled it, tied up. Jump ball. Possession arrow stays with Texas. Well, the next meeting will be interesting too, because you got Iowa State on Wednesday night. And as we said earlier, you know, they beat the Cyclones in Ames, but that was without Ashley Jones, without her sister as well. They were missing a few players. Audrey Warren, by the way, has just matched her career high with 21.
And that's just a tremendous job by Audrey offensively, but it's been her defense really that's setting the tone as well.
Another jump ball. This time, Sooners have the possession arrow.
If you look at who's playing well today, overall, there's been spurts by other players, but it's been the veterans for Texas. And I mentioned this a while ago, but Vic Schaefer has really challenged Audrey Warren, Lauren Ebo, Shea Holly even. It's a second year for her. And Joanne Allen Taylor, he needs them to step up because they understand the gravity and the urgency of a game like this.
Well, and that's a good point, because in their first meeting, I don't know how many of these players did understand not only how important of a battle it was, 2 ranked teams, but this rivalry, the Red River rivalry. 9 of the 13 players on the Longhorns had never played in this game until their previous meeting. So they came out tonight aggressive, and it seemed like a rivalry game to them.
Yeah, it was a bit up and down. It was like a roller coaster in the first half, as we see another timing issue with the clock. And talked to the officials at one of the breaks, and they said they wear a pack. If you didn't notice, on each of the officials has a pack on their similar to a fanny pack on their hip, and it starts and stops the clock. One of them isn't functioning properly.
Adding 2 seconds to the clock. So now 1:45 to go. Texas up by 17. Longhorns on the night. They've shot nearly 50%, 47% from the field. Oklahoma, second highest scoring team in the country, 43%. They've been held to 59 points. They were averaging 86 per contest. Harmon with the shot clock winding down. Another Texas offensive rebound. Holly wants the bucket as well.
23 offensive rebounds to be exact for Texas today.
Shea Holly has tied a career high with 10 points. Williams with the bucket up to 14. So Shea Holly and Audrey Warren both tying their career highs for points scored. Less than a minute to go.
Lauren Ebo with her rebounds today. It's been tremendous. That number's way up there for her with 14 rebounds. Just an overall terrific effort by Texas. And I will say this, especially in the second half. They came out of halftime. Dick Schaefer had a conversation with his team who had turned the ball over too many times in the first half, and they really adjusted well. I thought the Longhorns came out, played much more aggressive on offense, defensively, played a smaller lineup, and it was effective.
It's going to be one of the more impressive wins of the season for Texas as they will move to 17-6 on the year. Oklahoma will suffer just their 4th loss of the season. They'll drop to 20-4. Williams getting some late points here as the shot clock is off. Fans on their feet here at the Irwin Center as Texas will move to 9-3 at home. And with less than a month to go in the regular season, Texas picks up a huge victory in Big 12 play, 78-63 over the arch-rival Sooners.
And it's great to see the Texas players excited about this. They were engaged in this game. They knew the importance of it. And really, Oklahoma in the second half ran into a buzzsaw called Texas defense. Lauren Ebo big on the interior. How about the numbers for Texas rebounding today? 23 offensive rebounds, a huge key to the game.
Including a career-high 14 rebounds from Lauren Ebo. So many impressive performances tonight for Texas. Ebo with 13 points, 14 rebounds. Audrey Warren with 21 points, tying a career high. Shea Holly making her 2nd straight start with 10 points. She tied a career high. Just up and down, one of the deepest performances of the year, if you can call it that. Everybody from top to bottom contributed.